of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Counselor Zerba?
Here.
Counselor Loretti?
Here.
Counselor Hitching? Here. Counselor Winchell? Counselor Pagano?
Here.
Counselor Simchek?
Before we start our public hearing, I'd like to receive and place on file emails in support of the hemp law from 8 United residents. And then can I get a motion to open the public hearing?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
First up, we have Robert Britton.
Good evening. Just a couple of questions. What happens with the ones that don't follow the rules? Who's going to enforce this? And do they get a second chance? That's all any questions I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Where's the answer?
We usually don't have a dialogue back and forth with public comment, so someone will probably get back. Thanks. Next up is Melissa Mannix.
Dumb.
Good evening. So as you know, I'm in favor of the new hen law, so I hope it goes through. There are several people here also in this row that are also in favor. And all the other people, I'd like to remind you of the petition that we put together and all the other letters that were sent and all of that as well. They're also in favor. Okay, thank you.
Next up, we have Arizara C. Did I get it right?
No.
No.
What's your last name?
Cooper.
And how do you say your first name?
Sorry.
And what's your address?
William Street, can I just say William Street? Okay. It's going to be a little bit more lengthy, but it's just because I'd like to address everything I've heard at other meetings, and I want to be as thorough as possible. I would like to start by addressing how having so many meetings and public hearings has affected the image of community support for the hen law. Many people have work, children, and prior commitments that make them unable to attend multiple times. Previous numbers showed community support, and their actions will continue to. However, those people's presence and support has not diminished. They just aren't able to attend everything. When voting on this, please remember the faces that were standing across the back wall in support when there weren't enough chairs at the first public hearing. Next, I would like to address things that I've heard in previous meetings as quickly as I can. Number 1, predators. With the setups proposed in the law, predators cannot get in. No food means they will leave, and animals are likely to return only if they acquire food. Chickens will also put themselves up on bars in the coop out of the reach of predators at night instinctually, which adds another layer of protection. Number 2 is smell. Chicken poop is actually 75% water. So even though chickens poop almost 50 grams a day, only 25% of that is actual feces. There are more grams of added sugar in a can of Coke than the amount that chickens poop in a day. If, for some odd reason, a scent arose before the cleaning time that you have stated in your law, agricultural lime neutralizes the pH of chicken poop, and it can be very, 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 very good at getting rid of smell, and it's quite affordable. That is from ResearchGate, because I needed a lot of different information, so that's a database online. I have also heard a lot of things about different illnesses that chickens can spread, and I know there's a lot of concern, so I've done a lot of research and I'd like to present that to you. Salmonella is one of the most common things we know that can come from chickens. However, most of it is actually spread through food. The best way to not get salmonella is just to wash your hands. You can't get salmonella if you don't have it on your hands. If you feed chickens tomato juice, it will also kill it in their digestive tract, so feeding tomato juice once a week will get rid of it completely. Most symptoms are actually cramps and diarrhea. Most people don't die from salmonella. So that is from, I believe, the same sources I stated previously. The next is bird flu. In 2022, there was 2 cases, and 3 cases in 2023, and 4 cases in 2024. Those were not death, they were just cases. The UCSF, or the University of California for Research of Biomedical Medicine, says that bird flu can spread to humans if people come in contact with fluids or feces of an infected bird without proper hand washing following exposure. Not all birds are infected, and if you wash your hands, again, you can't get it. Bird flu causes flu-like symptoms and can be treated using antiviral meds just like the flu, Dayquil, NyQuil, etc. Sorry, I lost my place. H5N1, also called bird flu, cannot be translated from human to human. One human cannot give it to another human. Therefore, it cannot become a pandemic, it cannot be given to kids at school, and it should not be a huge concern. That is from Dr. Spottiswoode. Most cases in other countries come from wet markets, which is on-site bird processing, which are already illegal in the US, so they are not a concern. Dr. Denis Reeses says that there have been thousands of outbreaks in birds, but the virus is hardly spread into humans. This means that the biological barrier between the viral DNA and human DNA is very strong. This does not mean it cannot be surpassed, but it is very unlikely. Hence the low case number. Even in birds, it is not deadly. It is only expensive in terms of profit due to egg production, and the corporate business find it more cost-effective to kill the birds to prevent the spread and profit loss than to let them fight it. So even if our birds were to catch it, they would not have a high death rate. I would also like to state that a few of the questions mentioned today were already addressed in the hen law, and that code enforcers will do very well at enforcing it, and I'm sure most people in favor would follow the rules. Thank you for your time.
Next up is Jerome Cooper.
I'm sorry. I'm Jerome Cooper. I live on William Street, and I'm so proud of her. I'm not going to be as scientific as her. I'm more or less going to speak about something that I just heard about today. Someone is saying that chicken coops can cause dizziness, headaches, nausea, and passing out. Well, if you live on the north side, the smell of the sewer plant is a lot worse than any chicken coop could ever be. And yes, we get nauseous, but we deal. If you walk down Madison Street, you have apartments that have 6, 7, 8 dogs in the apartment buildings. They stink worse than a chicken coop could ever stink. If you go to a chicken barbecue, you know the smell of the charcoal or the wood burning? More people will get sick by that than they will by a chicken coop. My last fact I want to state is not a fact but an opinion. Whoever is sitting there with their chest out saying all these things, they're the reason I get sick, because I have to listen to them and they're full of crap. Thank you.
Next up is Robert E.
Robert Eaton, I live over on Elm Street. I've been a long time supporter of this and been trying to move this forward for quite a while. Again, just like these guys, I want to address some of the concerns that were brought up by members. They brought up how to bring predators into town. We already have all these animals. Everybody here has seen the fox. Everybody here has seen raccoons from the garbage. Any animals that they worry that are going to come in, we already have those. And the deer that they say that the feed will bring in, the deer are already here. Everybody sees them in their backyards. And if you're using the responsible methods of storing your food, like you're going to be inspected for when you get your permit, you're not going to have that problem, because the deer can't get into the run where the feeders are, and they can't get into the chicken coop or wherever your food storage is. The benefits of having chickens in the community definitely outweighs the negatives that you could possibly come up with. This community for a long time had chickens. It wasn't that long ago where there was a lot of places inside the city that still had chickens. You can raise your own food supply, which everybody knows your grocery bills are horrible right now. Just between gardening and having chickens, you can pretty much feed your family. There's just not a lot of downsides that come along with it. And obviously we've seen from all the meetings that all the people that have shown up, there's been far more people speaking in support of this and showing support of it than against it. You may get private emails here and there that nobody sees, but it just doesn't. The support is way surpassing anything that's against it. And the government, I mean, a lot of people like to make sure that it's not just local people that are in support of it. The government has long supported people having chickens in their backyard. That's what got us through wars, by having our own food supply when things were diminished for the military. That's just one of the things that's wholesome. It's good education for the neighboring kids. neighbors going through hard times, you could bring in a dozen free eggs. I mean, there's just way more benefits to having an actual, I mean, it's beneficial to the ecosystem with bugs and everything else. It's just, it's going on for quite a while I think it's about time we just bring them back. It's not like you're gonna have every house in the town doing it when you have 46% of your houses in this town are rental anyway, so they're not gonna be able to have many homes, so. That's about all I got. Thanks.
Thank you.
Next up is Brahim Zogby.
What the cluck? After spending 25% of your term in office, you'll be voting tonight on adding the law to the code of the city of Oneida. As proposed, this was intended to ensure a source of local food. As written, the law serves a minority of residents who own and live in single-family residences, multifamily homes, renters, people who need to have their food insured are excluded. So while we're talking about the price of eggs, we've got a group of people who own single-family homes and live in them who are proposing this law for our entire city because of food cost. A little discriminatory, I would say. This law has been reworked because representatives of residents in the outside district objected to a permit fee. So it's okay to pay a fee if you're in the inside district, but not in the outside district where there are a lot of single-family owner-occupied residencies, but no permit there. Did they consider the residents that would be impacted in the inside district when proposing this law? Without this law, the outside district is fine. No need to address it at all. Why are permits good for 3 years? Too costly? Can we pay the officer who enforces the law every 3 years? Can we get away with that? Dog licenses are good for 1 year. Cats aren't licensed at all. But we're gonna offer a permit to people who have single-family owner-occupied residences if they pay for a permit. Every 3 years. It's a burden on all taxpayers. Chickens are not allowed to run free or at large from the coop at any time where they run. How do they know that? It's in the law. Chickens aren't allowed to do that. Who told them that? The owner? When they break the law, what happens? Section 71.7, C and D, you may look at it or you may not, whatever. But basically it says that the word may is used. You may decide to get a fine. You may get slapped on the hand. Not shall. Who makes that decision? Codes officer? Who makes the decision? The legislation is faulty. I submit that it's discriminatory and faulty. It's time to vote no and get rid of the law and what it pretends to be. All of these things, I don't challenge anything that any of the other people said about sickness, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Chickens, they're just lovely animals. But in a city, this is difficult to enforce, and it does not serve the general public. It serves only a few people who want to have a hobby within this inside district. Finally, I just want to say, what the cluck? Thank you.
Thank you. Ralph Kohler, up next.
Good evening. I'm against chickens, any place but inside the agricultural district. But first, let me say, I wish I had Mr. Zogby insights. I agree with everything he said, And I also agree that Ms. Cooper and the other supporters are right about their facts, but they're wrong about their applicability to Oneida. I don't know if this is a popularity contest or how many people come up or write you emails, but I think there are good policy reasons for not approving this outside the agricultural district. Chickens are agricultural animals. Oneida has an agricultural district. It has a residential district and it has commercial districts. Chickens belong in the agricultural district and other outside districts which might as well be agricultural. People who want to raise chickens should take up residence in the agricultural district where that should be allowed. There are good arguments for having chickens in the agricultural district. Ms. Cooper made many of them. Her reasons don't really apply to the inside residential district, though, where the primary purpose is for people to reside, not to grow farm animals. Further, I doubt the city's ability to adequately regulate chickens. I saw a chicken on somebody's lawn Saturday, and I saw a post about a week and a half ago of a chicken running around in the city. Maybe you guys saw that too. The city's inability to manage the feral cat problem also leads me to believe that you will not do a good job regulating chickens, because you can't do it for cats, and you have no real interest in doing so, because you put no money against it. In 2 years, will there be money to put against regulating chickens? You can see why I have my doubts. The entire idea is a bad one, in my opinion. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Motion to close public hearing.
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we're gonna open up for old business. Any old business for council? All right, we're gonna move on to reports. And at this point, I don't really have a report.
I got a few. So, most of you are probably aware the city of Oneida is again on the search for a comptroller. Mr. Gasser resigned last Monday after about 5 days on the job. Cut and dry resignation letter, just it was more than he thought it was gonna be, and didn't feel he was right for the position. Still looking for a city planner. That is also an ongoing search. And good news, July 6th, down here at the Legion, Owls Club and the United American Legion is gonna be sponsoring some fireworks. So wanted to get that out to you folks there. Sounds like a good time. That's all I have.
Can I get the approval of minutes for June 18th, 2020?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any noes, any abstentions? Motion's passed. Can I get the approval of warrant 13?
Resolve that warrant number 13, checks and ACH payments in the amount of $749,418.23, as audited by the voucher committee, are hereby approved for payment in the usual manner at the direct discretion of the acting city manager.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any noes, any abstentions? Motion's passed. Turn the meeting over to our city clerk, Sandy.
Item number 1, adopt local law. Adopt a local law to amend section 17-1 of the Code of the City of Oneida and to establish a new chapter regulating the harboring of hens within the City of Oneida inside district. This will be a roll call vote.
Motion.
Second. Any discussion? Thank you all for coming and making this. This has been a long process, so thank you for bearing with us.
Mayor Rossi,
No.
Councilor Zerba,
Yes.
Councilor Loretti,
Yes.
Councilor Hitchings,
Yes.
Councilor Winchell's absent, Councilor Pagano,
Yes.
Councilor Simchek.
Yes.
Item number 2, adopt local law. Adopt a local law amending section 3-5 of the Oneida City Code regulating the removal of shopping carts by the supervisor of public works within the city of Oneida. This will also be a roll call vote.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mayor Rossi,
Yes.
Counselor Zerba,
Yes.
Counselor Reddy,
Yes.
Counselor Hitchings,
Yes.
Counselor Winchell's absent, Counselor Pagano,
Yes.
Counselor Simchak.
Yes.
Motion's carried. Item number 3, adopt local law. Adopt a local law to amend the city charter and the city code regarding appointments by the mayor within the city of Oneida. This also will be a roll call vote.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mayor Rossi,
Yes.
Counselor Zerba,
Yes.
Counselor Reddy,
Yes.
Counselor Hitchings,
Yes.
Counselor Winchell, absent, Counselor Pagano,
Yes.
Counselor Simchak.
Yes.
Motion carried. Item number 4, approve stipend. Authorize a stipend for John Monahan, Water Superintendent, for an additional $500 per week for acting city manager duties retroactive to June 17th, 2024 until a permanent city manager is hired.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? John's been doing his job as a
For a while.
thanks, yeah, for the city, so we're trying to just compensate him, and he's also had a full department around as well, so. All in favor?
Aye.
Any noes, any abstention? Motion's passed.
Item number 5, amend fee schedule. Approve to amend the Department of Planning and Development fee schedule adopted on April 18th, 2023 by Resolution 23-67 to include short-term rental application fee.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any noes, any abstentions? Motion's passed. Any new business from council? That'll lead us into public comment. Can I get a motion to open public comment? Greg Myers, here.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll keep it short. On June 18th, a Tuesday, there was a house explosion in the city of Syracuse on Carbon Street. That Friday, all the debris had been removed less than a week later. On December 1st of last year, a partial wall collapsed at 122 Vanderbilt Ave. Okay? The fire chief at the time required the rest of the building be demolished, which happened. That was 214 days ago, and we still have a debris pile there. I'm dealing with water in my basement that I've never had before. I'm dealing with people, what's going on with the building next to you? I understand that on July 8th, he's going to begin. Not going to hold my breath. Something needs to be done. This isn't the first building that the city of Oneida has chose to demolish because of its deteriorated points. We need to come up with a plan that does this quickly. January 1, that building should have been declared a public nuisance. And we don't negotiate with the property owner saying, you know, maybe I need another 6 weeks, maybe I need another 2 months. Oh, my attorney isn't available. That's what we did for the past 8 months. Terrible. Last month, a store that had been located here in the city of Oneida closed after 76 years in business. Contributing to this community, property taxes, sales taxes, school taxes. Did anybody from the council reach out to them and congratulate them on their future retirement? Didn't happen. Code enforcement visited them and told them to get the signs off the city property between the sidewalk and the curb that said retirement sale. 4 signs. Thank you very much. Lastly, thank you. I now can put 24 hens on my property on South Willow Street. My neighbors will enjoy it.
Can you put that on the vacant lot next door?
Sure.
Thank you. And that will end our public comment period. And can I get a motion to end the meeting, or actually a motion to go into executive session? No action taken by council. To seek advice from council with no action taken. Sorry.
Motion?
Sorry. All right, we're gonna take a 5-minute break and then come back. Thank you guys for coming. Have a good 4th of July. Thank you.
You can't have, before you can only have 12.